YouTubers you should subscribe to are Seth the Programmer, Chuck the Cyber, Sigas, Geekdom 101, and most of all, Animation Rewind, including his new channel, Rewind Rumble. These people make all of great content and a lot of awesome versus series and great comedy. Stay gold.
Thank you.
Did I do okay, Mr. Director?
Outstanding, sir.
Thank you, sir.
It's been 84 years. Well, maybe not 84, but the second episode of Cartoon Fight Club has finally gotten the long-awaited rematch. The battle between Mordecai and Rigby versus Finn and Jake, two best friends duking it out in one epic rematch. I'm your host, Animation Rewind, and if you haven't seen the first battle between these two, then you got something on your to-do list. But if you have seen that and you know how the game is played, then let's introduce Cartoon Fight Club's next round of fighters.
Wait, Brian, wait! Now let's watch a whole bunch of ads.
Oh.
One.
Mordecai is a Blue Jay in his mid-20s and is a local groundskeeper of the park working under Benson's management. He's quite laid back and of course lacks clothing. He likes to play video games in true epic gamer fashion, sings karaoke, and drinks coffee and soda all day long. He also enjoys hanging out with his friends and struggles to express his feelings. In fact, I think he's almost died a few times because he couldn't express his feelings. Like I said, Mordecai is a master at playing games. He's also quite skilled at lying. Well, at the very least, he's definitely a better liar than Rigby, even tricking Benson into believing some of his lies. He's also far more educated than Rigby. Now, just by looking at Mordecai, you're not going to expect much from him based off of looks, and although Mordecai is a slender bird, he is considerably strong for what he packs. It is very noticeable when he faces Rigby in a game of punchies. Also, he's been seen bashing through locked doors, breaking a broom with one punch, and easily ripping a shirt in half. Mordecai is actually quite a skilled fighter and has gone up against a wide range of opponents. He's so skilled that he actually mastered the martial art technique known as Death Kwon Do and can put Death Kwon Do to good use. Mordecai is also known to be a well-rounded driver. He's quite skilled in driving the golf cart and using it to stay out of trouble. But of course, he's not the best driver. He lacks a sense of direction and he's constantly getting lost and finding himself in the middle of nowhere, especially without Skips giving him advice. And then there's the downside to Mordecai. He is a very lazy worker and usually slacks off on the job. He's known to be a heavy sleeper and misses out on many things. He's also too kind-hearted to reject his opponents and struggles to make tough decisions, especially if they're emotionally based. Mordecai also gets exceedingly nervous when he has to face his fears. It takes him a while to get things done and he relies off of other people around him, usually Pop, Skips, or Benson. And more often than not, he gets into situations that he can't initially handle. And of course, he usually does better when working in a group. Overall, Mordecai is a slim bird that slacks off on the job. He's a skilled fighter but is too kind-hearted. He gets intimidated easily and lacks abilities to make smart decisions.
Do you have a better idea?
Yes, I do.
Rigby is also a local groundskeeper of the park working under Benson's management. Like Mordecai, he too lacks clothing but isn't as laid back. Sure, he's lazy, but sometimes he has a bit of a temper. He too plays video games, but he isn't as good as Mordecai. He does sing karaoke, though slightly more annoyingly, and he does drink soda and coffee all day long just like his bird friend. And also like Mordecai, he enjoys hanging out with friends but struggles to express himself. He's roughly 3'5", making him about 2'5" shorter than Mordecai and roughly 35 pounds. Being light has its consequences. Rigby once played a game called Punchies with Skips and lost. Lost so bad, he damaged his butt cheek to the point where he needed surgery. surgery to get it fixed. If I had to describe Rigby in 2 words, the best 2 would be wild adult. Even though he's past his teenage years, he can become frustrated, frightened, confused, or sad very easily, making his behavior very reaction-based. Rigby is also very arrogant, impulsive, impatient, and immature at times, giving him the personality of a child. On the upside though, Rigby appears to be very fast, acrobatic, sneaky, and
Nice!
he and Mordecai managed to catch a gray truck and free cake, which made him very fast. He's definitely a lot faster than Mordecai because he can run on all 4s when need be. Being a raccoon, Rigby is easily the fastest of the 2. He has used his speed in various situations, such as retrieving the cover to the Book of Park Records momentarily and escaping the jaws of snowballs in Appreciation Day. He also has sharp raccoon teeth and sharp raccoon claws. He used them to attack Garrett Bobby Ferguson and many other villains within the regular show universe. As for weaknesses, Rigby is very lazy, physically weak when it comes to lifting things, lacks intelligence, is quite claustrophobic, highly allergic to eggs, and worst of all, he's bad at video games. #SadGamerMoments. Both Rigby and Mordecai know Death Kwon Do, such as for self-defenses, patience, and wisdom. It gives both Rigby and Mordecai great power, such as the Death Punch of Death. The Death Punch of Death is a move that is done from a distance and emits a wave of unbelievable power, shown to be able to tear apart a stone fountain with ease. Its true destructive power can be exploited by making contact with a target, causing an energy pillar to explode at the point of impact, reaching high into the clouds. Finn the Human started his life being born on Hub Island. He is the son of Martin Mervins and Minerva Campbell. Finn's dad, Martin, was known as a con artist. Because of this, he had a lot of enemies who tried to stop his shenanigans. He was once confronted off guard and forced to flee his house with baby Finn while Finn's mom was at work. Martin made the choice to set Finn off on a raft to protect him while he got attacked by the Guardian. This caused Finn's parents to split, and Finn drafted and floated towards the land of Oo. He laid in his raft crying until Jake's parents, Joshua and Margaret, rescued him from the wilderness and brought them to their home. They raised him alongside Jake, and thus the adventures of Finn and Jake officially began. Finn and Jake eventually moved into their own treehouse, and they built a good relationship. They learned how to adventure, fight, collect things, and be heroes. Finn is naturally a good fighter. Most of his skills were either self-taught, taught by Jake, or gained through natural experience. However, after receiving training from the old gumball robot Rattleballs, Finn dramatically improved his sword skills and reflexes to greater levels. Finn prefers overpowering his opponents, but he is also quick enough to understand an opponent's weakness using his environment to win a fight. Finn has gathered an assortment of swords throughout his adventures. However, there are 5 main ones. These include Scarlet, the Root Sword, the Demon Sword, the Grass Sword, and finally the Finn Sword. Arguably, the 2 strongest swords are the Grass Sword and the Finn Sword. However, the Grass Sword is a bit irrelevant because Finn replaces it with the Finn Sword. Just by holding the sword, all of Finn's physical attributes double. Basically, this sword is actually just a sacrificed alternate version of Finn. Because of this, Finn has a special bonding with the sword, and he can hear its thoughts. The sword can act as a second mind, offering tips and advice. Finn also carries his trusty backpack, which contains an assortment of travel goods, some of which include food or water, ropes, daggers, scissors, and a flute. Nothing over the top, but these are useful for long adventures. Finn has defeated the Ice King, who can create storms across multiple kingdoms and froze the entire world in an alternate timeline that was exactly the same as the main timeline up until a later point. Finn is quite durable as he survived attacks from the corrupted Princess Bubblegum, who in this state could easily take on the Gumball Guardians. Jake the dog, or Jake's powers at least, has 2 different origin stories, and which story holds true for the responsibility of his stretchy powers is still up for debate. On one hand, some speculate Jake was born with these powers, as Jake's dad was attacked by a strange blue creature with multiple eyes, and that creature bit him. Jake was later born from this infection that his father had after the bite. It is inferred that Jake's stretchy powers came from that infection since he was a puppy as a result of this biological relationship. The only thing that stands against this event is the story of Jake himself saying he rolled around in magical mud, and that's how he got his powers when he was a puppy, by rolling around in magical mud and became a magical dog. While one origin story has multiple witnesses and the other is based off of Jake's memory, what's important here is what actually Jake can do with these powers, not necessarily how he got these powers. Jake can not only stretch, but he can also morph into different shapes and grow into different sizes. He can also shrink as well. Growing large larger gives Jake the advantage of increased weight and strength. While he lacks Finn's talent for swordsmanship, he makes it up for toughness and magical brawn. He is a capable hand-to-hand fighter and can transform his own limbs into weapons. Jake's stretching, of course, does have a limit. This is because Jake's stretching ability is subject to the principle of conservation of mass. It is revealed that while Jake can stretch his body to incredible lengths, his body could be pulled so long that it becomes dangerously thin. Once his mass is distributed along a certain length of his body, it becomes difficult for him to support himself. Being a magical dog, Jake has an acute sense of smell, as he can apparently smell the precise location of any object miles away. Jake technically does know how to use conventional weapons. He briefly uses a sword to fight Finn, though Finn defeats him effortlessly. Jake does not share Finn's aggressive style of fighting and does not rely on any form of formal training, mainly focusing on overpowering his opponents naturally with giant muscles and giant size, and of course his large weight. Which brings us to the fact that Jake loves to eat. He likes junk food, especially pie, burgers, and ice cream. Jake is generally laid back and tends to not worry about things. He relies heavily on his powers to get him out of any deadly situation.
Say what?
Everywhere I go, I see his face. I just really miss him.
Gonna cry?
And now, let's get ready for the fight. This battle will take place on Earth, and remember, there is no prep time. Let the battle begin!
Aww!
Uh-huh. What the?
Whoa!
Yeah. Dude.
Hey!
Yeah.
It's showtime! Okay!
Come on.
Finn style.
Okay. Awesome.
Alright!
It's cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Alright! Holy snap!
Come on.
Yeah, look at that!
Dude, yeah.
Okay.
Aw, cool. Yeah.
Finn style. Good luck is coming your way. What are we playing? Aw, man.
Awesome, dude.
So cool. Whoa. That's pretty cool. Ow. That's pretty cool. Whoa. Whoa.
Uh-huh.
What are we playing?
Awesome, dude.
That's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Ouch! Oh man, this stuff was the best! Hey!
Aw, cool.
That's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Knockout!
Hopefully you enjoyed the animation, and if you did, super special thanks to Team Animation Rewind's Gabriel M. and Isaac X. Bode. They both worked on this together and they did a great job. Thanks, and enjoy the post-analysis. After After all this time, Finn and Jake finally got their revenge. Oh wait, they didn't? Wait, they lost twice to two lazy animals? As crazy as it sounds, Mordecai and Rigby would still beat Finn and Jake in a fight even without preparation. I say this one too many times, but the animation was not a simulation. However, Mordecai and Rigby would beat Finn and Jake in a no prep battle. Now, to be fair, if this rematch happened earlier before both series ended, maybe this would have gone a different way. And yes, Finn and Jake can scale to being moon level or small planet level via scaling to Joshua and scaling to the Ice King, and this would be very tough for Mordecai and Rigby to compete with. But if we factor in their basketball powers, Mordecai and Rigby would severely outclass Finn and Jake with speed. Mordecai jumped from the surface of the Earth into the outermost atmosphere of space in just 4 seconds, making his jump roughly 55,800 miles per hour or 89,801 kph. This makes Mordecai and Rigby roughly high hypersonic when it comes to speed. Finn has dodged Lemon Grab's Sound Sword, but this took a lot of effort and timing. Forget the fact that luck could have been involved with his dodging feat. This would make Finn's reaction speed at best supersonic plus or twice the speed of sound. Mordecai and Rigby also have some very inconsistent durability thanks to inconsistent Toon Force. On one end, they could survive atomic antimatter rewriting. In other situations, to be more consistent, town level at best favorable durability, trading Death Kwon Do blows. In Mordecai and Rigby's favor, they are roughly 70 times faster than Finn and Jake. With this much of a speed gap, the winner comes down to a battle of stamina. With moon level attack potency and durability, Finn and Jake likely only needs one good moon level hit to kill Mordecai and Rigby. But since they are 70 times slower and not factoring in luck, because either party can get lucky, they would need to actually wait for Mordecai and Rigby to lose stamina so they can become slower by becoming more tired. And keep in mind, these are both characters at their best, so regardless of preparation, Mordecai and Rigby are going to get their super speed via basketball powers. So it comes down to this question: how many Mach 33 town level punches would it take to kill someone with moon level durability? Well, it would take roughly 1.1 million full powered punches. As for the speed, considering it takes professional boxer Floyd Mayweather to punch 1,300 times in 4 minutes, meaning he could perform 5.4 punches in a second or about 324 punches in a minute, his punch is traveling at roughly 32 miles per hour. This would make a Mach 73 punch roughly 1,743 times faster than that of a human punch. That means Mordecai and Rigby could punch 564,732 times per minute, meaning they could reach their goal of 1.1 million punches in right under 2 minutes. Mordecai and Rigby certainly have enough stamina to fight for more than 2 minutes at their best with their basketball powers and their Death Kwon Do moves. All in all, Finn and Jake are just too slow to dodge 1.1 million punches in 2 minutes, making the winner of this battle Mordecai and Rigby. Now, these aren't the only two Cartoon Network characters that faced off each other. Remember Mordecai versus Gumball? Well, if you want to see a Cartoon Network free-for-all, all you gotta do is like this video. If this video gets 10,000 likes, a free-for-all will be put into production. Don't forget to comment down your own ideas, and stay tuned as the next fighters are going to be revealed on the next episode of Cartoon Fight Club.
Oh.